What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix and welcome to my Wintertodt solo guide. I'll be covering everything you need to know from why and when you should solo to the strategy you should be using to get the maximum amount of points. Soloing the Wintertodt uses quite a different strategy to regular Wintertodt. Firstly, you'll get the Wintertodt down to around 15% energy, and at this percentage, the Wintertodt barely damages you. You get damaged on average once every 2 to 3 minutes, allowing you to hoard loads of points without taking a lot of damage. You can reach extremely high point numbers, but 13,500 is the highest you should go for, since the maximum rolls you can get from one crate is 28. 13,500 is the maximum, not 14,000, because for the first 500 points you get 2 rolls, then every 500 after that you get 1 roll. Moving on to why you should solo Wintertodt. Overall, soloing the Wintertodt provides about 50% more crate rewards per hour compared to normally doing the Wintertodt. So that makes it a great way to train fire making for Ironmen specifically, since you get a lot more seeds and supplies compared to normally doing the Wintertodt. Soloing is also a lot more AFK, since you'll get damaged far less often, although you still will need to be focused to avoid some of the Wintertodt's attacks. Soloing also provides lots more construction XP per hour compared to World 309, because you'll be the only one repairing the brazier. You can also expect more woodcutting XP per hour when you're soloing, but not a lot more than the regular Wintertodt. There's also a few reasons why you shouldn't solo Wintertodt. Training on the official world is faster XP per hour because of the fire-making XP reward you get at the end of each game. The XP rate on the official Wintertodt world is about 30% faster in terms of fire-making XP. So let's say you get 260,000 on the official world with lots of people, you can expect around 200k in a solo. This method also requires good food, which makes it not suitable for some Ironman accounts that have high hit points and don't have access to good tier foods. To partake in the Wintertodt, you need a minimum of 50 fire making. Along with that, to be able to solo, there's a few other requirements. You'll need your own player-owned house, which means you'll need to speak to an estate agent across Runescape to set that up. This allows you to repair the braziers when they break. You also need to complete the Druidic Ritual quest, which allows you to create the rejuvenation potions used to heal the wounded and fallen pyromancers. Optionally, having 60 agility also allows you to use the shortcut on the far side of the Wintertodt, which makes setting up the game and ending it slightly easier, but is by no means a requirement. There's also some item requirements. First up, you'll need 4 pieces of warm clothing. The easiest 4 pieces of warm clothing to get is from the Clue Hunter outfit, which has no requirements to get or wear. Alternatively, on the screen I've added a range of other popular items, and the best warm clothing to use once you have it is the full Pyromancer set for the extra fire-making XP boost. In conjunction with warm clothing, you'll need your best woodcutting axe and food. Saradomin brews are highly recommended if your health is above 70. Alternatively, you can bring sharks if you're under 70 health, and cakes are great for accounts with under 20 hit points. One stamina potion or energy potion is a great help for setting up the solo game, and a games necklace is the fastest way to get there. On the way in, you'll need to grab a tinderbox, hammer, and 3 unfinished rejuvenation potions. You should also grab a knife if you want to fletch, although fletching is only really useful when you're running in a solo. I'll explain that more later on. Now let's get into the strategy when it comes to soloing. It's a 3-part process. Firstly setting up, then earning points, and lastly finishing off the game. Setting up the game involves lighting all of the braziers and keeping them lit until the Wintertodt is below 20% energy. Firstly, you'll need to find a world that's free. Look for worlds with 100% energy and haven't had any downed pyromancers, depicted by the red magic symbol. I start out by having a sip of my stamina potion and running a full circle around the Wintertodt, lighting each brazier along the way. If you have 60 agility, you can loop all the way around. However, if you don't, the best way to light is go all the way on one side and loop all the way back, which allows you to relight some as well if they go out. When you're going to light the 4th and final brazier, you should grab 3 broomer herbs from the small plants on either side. It's a one-click action, and spam clicking will delay you, so only click it once. After you've lit the 4th brazier, head to the safe area of the Wintertodt at the entry room and make your rejuvenation potions. Now you need to wait until the Wintertodt is down below 20%, and during this time you'll need to be relighting the 2 closest braziers to you. Once you get closer to 20%, the braziers go out more and more often, so you'll need to be running back and forth from the braziers to keep them going. Once it's below 20%, you can start the process of gaining XP and points. The process is much the same as facing the Wintertodt regularly, so pick one corner of the Wintertodt that you'd like to train at, and you begin the process by filling your inventory with logs by chopping the bruma trees nearby. Once your inventory is full, you can light the brazier and add your logs to it for points. The pyromancer nearby has a health bar and will be damaged from the cold of the Wintertodt. Once they lose all their health and they'll sit down, you can't relight the brazier. By clicking on them, it uses 1 dose of your rejuvenation potions we prepared earlier and brings him back to full health. Throughout the game, you will need to get more unfinished potions and herbs to make more rejuvenation potions. On average, getting to 13,500 points, you'll need about 8 rejuvenation potions, so make them as you go. There's 3 types of damage that can hit you in the Wintertodt. First, there's occasions where you can see a snowstorm forming above you. In those cases, you need to move 3 tiles away to avoid being damaged completely. When woodcutting, you should stand in the small 1 tile space next to the tree, since this is a 3x3 attack, and when you're in that 1 single space tile, it won't occur. The second attack is where you're standing next to the brazier and a big snowstorm appears above it. And that's not to be confused with the little snowstorm, which only turns out the brazier. The big snowstorm will break it and damages the players nearby. So to avoid that, run 1 tile at least away. The last damage attack is from the seeping cold of the Wintertodt, which is completely unavoidable, but you'll only see it every 3 to 5 minutes or so as long as the Wintertodt is below 20% energy. Throughout the game, you'll need to keep an eye on that energy level. The goal is to keep it around 10 to 15%. If it goes over 15% and nears 20, you should keep relighting one of the braziers until it goes back down. If you're below 10%, then don't light the brazier because otherwise the game might end ahead of time. So there's 4 ways to earn points while playing the Wintertodt. Lighting the brazier gives 25, repairing a broken one gives 25, healing a downed pyromancer gives you 30 points, and lastly, adding bruma logs or kindling gives 10 or 25 points respectively. Kindling is made by fletching the logs, and I prefer only to selectively fletch in solos, so when I'm walking to a brazier or running from one side to another, that's when I'll start fletching. It's possible to fletch 2 logs on the way from one brazier to the next one. Or going from the bruma tree back to the brazier, you can fletch 1 log if you wait an extra game tick when you get there. The process of getting to 13,500 points from the start takes 35 to 50 minutes depending how efficiently you play. So with that being such a long time, there's a chance that you'll want to take a break. To avoid taking damage, you should go into the safe area of the Wintertodt, but don't log out. Logging out does reset your point count. So this means if you do need to log out for a while, you should finish the game before logging out and claim your reward. Finishing off the match gets you around 500 points in itself, so it's a good idea to end the point hoarding part 500 points early. So for example, if you're going for 13,500, end that at 13,000 and you'll get the last 500 in this section. There's nothing wrong with ending the game early, it's just slightly less efficient hourly. So the process of ending is very similar to starting it, except the braziers go out very often when the Wintertodd's energy is below 10%. Because of this, some players will choose to just sit and wait at one brazier and keep relighting it. After a minute or so, the game will finish and you're granted with 1 loot crate with a number of rolls equal to your total number of points divided by 500 plus 1. So that's my solo Wintertodt guide. Some players might choose to bring a friend along, making it a duo Wintertodt method, and I've also seen some clans occasionally group and do this method as well, so call it what you want, but I hope you learned something cool today. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.